Hello, bridge builders! I'm here with some exciting news. The first volume of interviews is now available on Amazon.com. The link can be found at eatlunchandboardgame.com. I promise that all proceeds from sales of this book will go right back into this podcast and channel. Whether that is new and better audio equipment for the podcast, or video equipment for the YouTube channel, or even more games to review, the money will not be wasted. Click over to Amazon and get your copy of Eat Lunch and Board Game, the first course today. And thank you for supporting the show. In this episode, I'm joined by Colby Lippincott, the game producer for Lab Rats Games. We talk about his game Corpse Cat and what makes it stand out. Its wooden box, its 3D printed components, and its strange concept of being a cat on its ninth life while trying to kill all the other cats on their ninth life as well. Talk about the usual questions and also how he makes some of the components at his house, including the cards. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to Lunch and Board Game. I'm your host, Adam Collins, and with me today is the game producer for Lab Rats Games, Colby Lippincott. That's with 2 P's and 2 T's. Colby, how you doing?
Great.
And you're calling in all the way from California, so a little bit of a time difference for us here, but luckily 2 hours is a little bit better than when I do calls with England, where I've got to deal with multiple time zone differences.
Yeah.
So, you are the game producer. You have a friend, Greg, who is the designer of your guys' first game, Corpse Cat. Corpse Cat came across my email, as so many do, searching for a review for everything board games, and I jumped at it because it looks hilarious, but it also comes in a wooden coffin. What made you go with a wooden coffin for your packaging?
So Greg had originally launched this game on Kickstarter, and I found out I go to the same church as him, and we started talking about creating a business, and basically we landed on creating board games after trying a few different other things. And when I wanted to get in with him on making board games, I realized, getting board games made outside is pretty hard. Like, if you're going to go through Game Crafter or something, unless you're buying in bulk, they're going to be really expensive. You're not going to make much money on it. So I started looking into making them in-house instead, the cards, the box, everything like that. And one of the things I landed on was using wood instead of using cardboard, because I have access to a laser cutter. So I figured, well, you know what, I can get some plywood and try something. And originally it was just a regular wooden box. But then my wife suggested, well, if you're gonna make a custom box anyways, you might as well make something themed to the game. And so we landed on the coffin theme, because it's just it kind of just fits with the morbid humor of the game.
Yeah, it is a game about killing cats. It's a game of luck and spite, as it says on the box here. I think doing it to fit the theme, making it a coffin, was a stroke of genius from your wife.
Yeah.
It is great. So the laser cutter, man, it's always fun to see what people do with these, and making a game box out of it, and then 3D printed components on the inside to make it all hold together, right?
Yeah. So I'm an engineer, and I've worked a lot with 3D printers over the years. It's probably one of my biggest hobbies, except board games. And
there's nothing
it's
wrong
just
with
nice to bring all the different kinds of things that I experienced together to make one thing. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. I'll tell you, when I got the copy, I emailed you immediately. I was not expecting to get this quote unquote deluxe edition. I was just expecting to get the good old fashioned tuck box, because it's
Yeah.
just basically the game's a deck of cards and a die. That's all you really need.
Mhm.
And I get this big laser cut coffin with the cards inside and and two dice so that you can speed the game up. I always find that giving everybody a die speeds a game up so fast, even if it's just to roll it and read off one number.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow. But yeah, you said you'd start doing this all in house. So how do you do the cards in house? I'm curious.
So the way we, I had to do a lot of research because I started with like regular cardstock, um, heavy cardstock, and printed those, and then quickly realized, oh, you can see through these. Like, this might not be ideal because of that. So, we actually had to go to China to like a big playing card manufacturer and get them to send us uh, blue core playing card stock in the like regular 8.5 by 11 size. So I have like a huge amount of that just laying around. But we basically just run that through the printer, like 10 cards on one sheet, flip it over, put the, print the back on it, and then laminate the sheet with regular laminating sheets. And then use like if you've seen like a Cricut or like,
Yep.
one of those cutters, use one of those with some registration marks on the cards and, yeah, cut around the cards, and that's how it works.
So you actually print on blue core cardstock
Yeah.
that you've bought from a supplier in China.
Yeah, exactly. It's
That's
kind of
awesome.
crazy.
That's awesome. That no, I totally agree. That is crazy, but hey, the game's hilarious. My goodness, that's awesome. So, like we were talking before, I took this game to work, as I often do with games. You know, obviously with my podcast being about board gaming at lunch, I like games I can play in a lunch hour, and so I was like, oh, this game is easily to explain. That's what I like, but the approachability and ease of explanation of this game is makes it really quick to play and teach at
Mhm.
a office. And I took it in, and one of the women I game with, she's like, I don't like cats. I'm like, oh, I think you're gonna like this game then, because it's all about gun.
Yeah, I think one
And
of
so
the
she's like, really?
yeah, one of the selling points for on Greg's Kickstarter was like, if you hate cats, great, then you get to kill all sorts of cats.
Right. Because so for those of you who don't have the game, but you should definitely go get it off the Etsy store, which we'll mention and I'll put it in the show notes as well. You are a cat that's run out of lives. You are on your ninth and final life, and you were trying to knock off all the other cats. So that I'm not sure really why. It doesn't really say in the rules why you hate all the other cats around you, but
No,
you do, and you were trying to be the
yeah,
last cat alive.
yeah, trying to outlive all your brethren, I guess.
So, what is your favorite card in the game?
uh, um, I think there's only a few reactive cards in the game that you can do
Yeah,
in
this game is
response.
not very. This game is not very nice. I would.
No, I mean you can just die right away in the game. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily you can keep playing after that. Like it's not like game over. Sorry, you have to sit out. But I like the I can't remember what the card is called. It's confused for another cat, where you
Yes.
basically redirect a card to someone else. That's always pretty funny
Yeah.
because you have someone who really wants, they're like ganging up on you, and they're like, you're like, why are you ganging up on me? I didn't deserve this. And then they play some instant death card on you, and you're just like, no, actually this is just going to kill you instead. So that's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
What's awesome with it is even then it's reactive. So you roll the die and it goes 1 through 3 one direction, 4 through 6 the other.
Yeah, yeah.
So And then what's fun, we had it happen where that happened to somebody and they sent the card to me off the die roll, but I had that same card and I sent it again, and it ended up going back around to the original person who played the card, and yeah, killed them. It was hilarious. It was two
Yeah.
rights and ended up back over there. My personal favorite is Cuddled by a Toddler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, my daughter is 3. She just turned 4, and we got her a cat when she was 1, and
Hmm.
he's not a very nice cat. I don't know why. I've had 7 cats in my life, and this guy's by far the weirdest of all of my cats. But
Yeah,
he
I
does
should
not
also
like being
clarify
cuddled.
that I have 2 cats and I love cats, so it's not like, you know. I always tell people it's okay. Like, I'm not trying to say I hate cats or anything. Just it's funny to think about things happening to cats. I don't know why. Like, it shouldn't be, but it is.
I don't know. Doesn't land on its feet was one of the cards, but Cuddled by a Toddler, just because like this new cat of ours, who by the way is named Meow,
Hmm.
he does not like being cuddled. And so I could totally see where, like, if you cuddled him twice, that's the end.
Hmm.
That's one of the yellow ones. So 2 of those ends the cat's life. So, yeah. So anyway, cuddling cats to death, good stuff. So so Colby, how did you get into board gaming as a hobby?
So I think it started when we started playing Catan with my parents. Like, I don't even know how that started exactly. I think we just we tried it and then we just started playing it like pretty periodically. And then after that, I think I got included in some different board game groups, like some friends that pulled me in, and then basically started buying my own board games, hosting board game nights, all that stuff. So, yeah.
It's a very slippery slope.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like 4 cabinets full of board games now. I think that's probably a pretty common uh, thing for board gamers.
Oh yes, yes. Do you have the Shelf of Shame? The
Oh yeah.
games you've bought you haven't played yet?
Yeah, I think I have. I probably have like maybe 4 or 5 games I haven't played yet. It's not too
Hey,
bad.
that's not doing. You're not doing too bad, man.
Yeah.
I'm pushing 60, I think.
Yeah.
Well, people like you keep sending me your games, and
Oh yeah, it's hard to keep up with it for sure.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna blame people like you. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
my story.
I'll take the blame.
Yeah, that's my story. I would have been caught up, but I keep getting games like Corpse Cat that arrive in the mail. So anyway, okay. So if I came all the way out to California, which I don't think I do right now, it's a long drive and it's a long flight. But anyway, if I made it out there, what game is currently on your table? What is your current favorite game that you're playing?
um so I have some 2 kids, and that makes it pretty tough. They're 11 and 9. So they don't like too many complicated board games, but uh it's so I don't get time to play board games a lot. But when I do, like especially over the summer, we all go to this like family camp or where we meet up with family and stuff. And we love to play Clank. Have you ever heard of Clank?
Oh, absolutely. I love Clank.
Yeah, so that's definitely one we break out every year. And then also Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, the co-op game.
Oh yes, that's one that I have not played yet. I know a lot of people that have. I just haven't had time. Isn't that one where you just gotta kind of devote some time to that one, right?
You kind of what?
You have to kind of devote a lot of time to that one.
Oh yeah. Well, I would say it's so there's something pretty cool about that game is it comes in like 7 packs. So you start out just with the first year, and then it's a pretty like simple game, and then you add on packs, and they're all included in the box. You add on packs until you get to the 7th year, and it gets harder and harder and more complicated. So I would say like if you're just starting with the first one, it actually doesn't take too long. It might be like 45 minutes to an hour.
Well, maybe I'll sit in on it next time I see somebody getting ready to play it. I think my
Yeah, it's
brother
pretty
has
fun.
it, so maybe I'll make my brother teach me how to play it.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, the reason I like it is because the kids can understand it like barely, and
Yeah,
it's a co-op game, so like people don't fight, which is a big problem
right.
for my kids.
Well, see, it's funny. I usually, when I'm making a gaming group, I like to play with co-op games because I feel like it helps the people that they don't like to be competitive. They don't, they don't like winning and losing and everything. And so I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a lot of co-op games. So my last company, we had a traveling trophy, and nobody wanted to play a co-op game. Everybody wanted to win for the trophy. So
Yeah,
anyway, we had a lot of very good battles at games like Corpse Cat as to who could win because everybody wanted the traveling trophy. So, but yeah, co-op games. I love co-op games. Castle Panic and Pandemic and Flashpoint are some of my favorite ones.
hmm.
So maybe I'll have to look into the Hogwarts battle. So we already covered the next question, which is how do you pronounce Catan, and you pronounce it correctly. So that's good. So during your day job, do you play board games at lunch?
I mean, my day job is making Corpse Cat right now, so no.
Oh
uh,
well, there you go.
Mostly work on my lunch break, unfortunately, or just eat lunch like in 15 minutes and go back to work. So
There's worse things, right?
yeah.
If you were to play at lunch and you were going to play a game in 30 minutes, what is your go-to 30-minute game?
Uh, I mean, I would probably say Corpse Cat, but I don't want to be biased. um, there's also I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's like a llama themed game by the same people who made Exploding Kittens. I don't remember what it's called now, but that one's pretty fun. And it takes about 30 minutes.
But yeah, I guess you can say Corpse Cat. I feel like, maybe a little bit biased, but, you're allowed to be. It's your pick.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming up for a lunch 30-minute game. So did you do a lot of play testing of Corpse Cat with your friends and everything?
Oh yeah, I helped Greg play test the game for sure.
Yeah, it's always fun when you find cards that are way too overpowered or trying to balance the right amount of blue cards in this game versus green cards. And like I said earlier, this
Yeah.
game is not very forgiving. There's not a lot of green cards. There's not a lot of purple cards that help you out. They're
Yeah.
mainly blue and yellow with a sprinkling of the black borders that are instant death.
Yeah, it's
Think of those. My favorite one is the antifreeze.
oh yeah. Yeah, there's some pretty brutal times when we play this game and it's just like takes like 15 minutes and everyone's out. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I What I like about it, I think, is that the die roll, even on those, it's not a very defensive game. It's all about just killing everybody's cat and going to the next round, reshuffling and playing again.
Yeah. There's no like
Because
dirtling, you know.
no, and I'll tell you, you've also got to be very careful what you keep in your hand because a lot of them are people pulling cards from your hand and playing them on you. And if you've got your own death card, man,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you
had I
generally
had
want to get
like
rid of them.
yeah, like your hand's not that big, and I had like two cards that could kill me in my hand, and what do you have, like five cards? So that's like half my hand almost is just cards that could kill me automatically. So the fourth blue card that will end me, or I had the black card, and I'm like, well, chances of surviving this are not very good. So what about a 30-minute or a 60-minute game? You're gonna
60
play for a
minutes.
whole lunch hour, yeah.
Let's see. I guess I couldn't find one that was like it seemed like it was either 30 minutes or like 2 hours. um, so I would probably say Clank. Or actually, you know what? I think you could probably play one of my favorite games is Mystic Vale, and you could play that
Mm-hmm.
in solo mode. I think probably in an hour.
I'm trying to think how long it. how long it takes to play Mystic Vale. I've played that game a few times. I swear the first time I played it, I won by so much. Like, and I played against people who knew the game. I swear I did something wrong. Because, like, I'm like, there's no way I could win a game by that many points.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
that
sure
game is
Mystic
like
Vale.
you get away from that's the downside of the game is like once you get ahead, everyone knows you're ahead and they stop trying because it's just like, yeah, okay, he's got all the good cards and makes like a ton of stuff every turn, and yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
even bother. So
But that's that. Mystic Vale with their card building was such a, I don't want to say a game changer, but like you always have like the deck building and the,
hmm,
but to have like a card building game. And then not too long after that, or maybe right around the same time, even Dice Forge had like the dice building, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you can make your own cards, you can make your own dice. Oh my gosh, what's next? And
hmm.
both those games, like I love Mystic Vale, and they have a whole bunch of expansions for that too.
Yeah, I think I have like all of them right now. I had to
And you
actually
know what?
3D print like
Absolutely
a
nothing wrong with that.
insert just to
Oh,
hold all
see,
of
there
them.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not? I have a 3D printer. I've yet to print any box inserts. I haven't found any that I like yet. That's better than just foam core that I can cut out myself.
right.
So, what about a hidden gem game? Oh, hang on. Let's take a step
Hmm.
back. Clank.
Yeah,
Clank Clank's not an hour no matter how many players, no matter how much you know it. It's 75 minutes.
yeah, for
We
sure. Like,
love that game. We love it. We've played it at the office so many times. Such a great game. But it's always 75 minutes. Like even like I'll get into the lunchroom early and set it up, and then everybody like sneaks off to heat up their food. So we start like right at 11:30, and it's still 12:45 when we're done.
yeah, yeah. And it's even worse
Oh,
if you have to explain the game while you're. I mean, it could take like over 2 hours sometimes.
oh, it can. And you know, I love how they've approached it too with their expansions and with just now they just, hey, here's a new board with a new monster and some new meeple tokens to run through it and a handful of cards. There you go. There's a whole new game.
Yeah.
And it comes in like the clam case. I mean, I love Clank and I have two of the expansions, like the full expansions.
Hmm.
I don't have any of the clam case ones yet. Clank in Space, that's I need to get that one. That one looks like a lot of fun. I have not played Clank in Space yet.
Yeah, I haven't played that either.
But I tell you, I will tell you, Clank is one of my favorite games. It's right up there with Champions of Midgard. Just game I just can't quite get in an hour, no matter how hard I try.
Yeah, I gotta try that one out.
Oh man, Champions of Midgard's the best. That's my favorite. So anyway, a hidden gem game, a game that you don't feel enough people know about.
I would say so. I actually got this game for my brother, just kind of wandering through a game store. It's called Spell Smashers. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Spell Smashers.
Yeah. So it's like Scrabble. Well, okay, not really like Scrabble, like Boggle, I guess. But there's different abilities, and like you can buy things and sell things, and um, it's like I guess if you were to take, I don't really know how to describe it, but you're basically trying to spell different words, and you get different cards that force you to use certain letter combinations and things, and like there's trade-offs with, uh, using the more difficult letters versus using the easier ones, and then you get bonuses for like, oh, if you use this many vowels in your word, or if you use this many consonants in a row, things like that. So it's really cool, actually.
Oh, never heard of it. Sounds awesome though. I mean, I just pulled it up here on Board Game Geek, and yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this game. So, which I can tell you, probably within a couple of weeks, it'll accidentally arrive at my house. I won't know how it got here. Tell my tell my wife I don't know where that came from. But Spell Smashers, key there is it's two separate words, not one.
Yeah.
But no, Sounds awesome. I've never heard of it. See, this is why I love this podcast, because I can ask this question and I always get the most random answers. And I'm like, what? This is
And then you're like,
crazy.
oh, now I got to go
Awesome, man.
buy another board game. Darn.
Yeah. Oh, no. Stop twisting my arm. The hard ones are the ones that are out of print. Those are the ones that, tend to
Oh.
cost you a little bit of money.
Hmm.
As you got to track it down off eBay or something. And then you're like, oof, cost me just a little bit more than I wanted to spend on a game, but why not? So when you're playing these games, especially like Clank,
Hmm.
and there's a color to choose, what color do you prefer to play as?
So my kids are like really picky about getting the right color they want. And so my
Yeah.
son always takes red. My daughter always takes blue. And then my wife always gets green. So I'm pretty much always just like left with whatever other color there is, like yellow or uh, yeah, just any color that no one else wants, basically.
So I read something somewhere that said if your favorite color is yellow, it's because you picked last.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious. No, so I'll put down yellow.
Yeah, definitely not my favorite color, but that's pretty much what I get.
It's unfortunate. You're dad. You're supposed to get the color you want.
Yeah, I don't think that's not how it ends up working out.
Oh. Oh. Well, my kids do pretty good. Though we don't play a lot of games with colors right now. Yeah, we're playing weird stuff, so there's no lot of colors in them. But usually I play as red or orange.
Hmm.
My daughter takes yellow or red when she can because she likes red's her favorite color. I'm like, oh, honey, it's cute that your favorite color is the same as mine, but daddy needs to be red or he doesn't follow the game very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've messed up a few different games. Catan, I'll forget that I'm not red, or Ticket to Ride's another one where if I'm not playing as the red trains, I fail to procure the right cards. It's a mess. You got to do it. So Kickstarter, you said Greg ran a Kickstarter, and I pulled it up. He did a pretty good job. 158 backers, $4,600. That's not too shabby for Corpse Cat. Um, so have you guys got anything on the horizon for a new Kickstarter or anything?
He actually has like a lot of different board games he's working on. Most of like there's quite a few of them that are actually done as far as mechanics go, but it's really just finding someone to do the art. That's probably the hardest part about making a board game, I would say, is just like the play testing and the coming up with ideas. That's all the fun part. But then once you like get down to brass tacks and like, oh yeah, I need to make art for all this. It's pretty hard. So
Well, I can tell you it doesn't get any easier.
yeah.
No, that's always a struggle for us as well. We've really lucked into it with our games. The three games that we've kind of got to that point where we have artwork, that the three different artists that we've worked with have been really great to work with and have really just smashed it. I mean, just knocked it out of the park. But yeah, it's not easy to find artwork. There's a lot of good websites. Fiverr, a friend of mine uses Fiverr and finds artists that way. But you're good. You want decent artwork, you're going to pay for it, and
Yeah, it's kind of a matter of biting the bullet, right?
Yeah, and so that's why we wait until the very end. Is the game ready? Can we no longer use our little clip art? Okay, let's find an artist.
Yeah.
I mean, our next game we're working on, it's an 18 card game, and we didn't even have artwork. Like we were playing the game with just cards with text,
Hmm.
and then when we got the artwork, we were blown away by it. The artwork is just so amazing. But then we realized, well, we don't even want to put our text on it. So our cards went from just your standard poker size cards to we're now making jumbo cards just because they're 3.5 by 5.5 inches, because the artwork is so awesome and we needed to have room to put our text,
Hmm.
and we didn't want to cover up any of the art.
Right.
So we made the cards bigger to offset that. We're like, well, we'll just make bigger cards because that makes sense.
Yeah.
And and so that's what we did. We're like, well, we'll just make bigger cards because like you said, artists just if it's not your strong suit, it is not your strong suit, and if you're not an artist, you're not an artist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
So if you and Greg are an artist, then you got to find it, and
Yeah,
just like you
Greg.
said,
Greg did the art for Corpse Cat. Did all pixel art. It took him a while, but I mean, I guess you can only use that once. Like you make another game. It's like, I mean, I guess we could do pixel art, but it kind of has to be a very uh, specific theme for him to be able to do that. And for it to look good. So, yeah.
Well, the pixel art fits this game.
Yeah.
It fits this game. The lightheartedness of the game. So I think the pixel art fits. But yeah, you wouldn't want pixel art on like Clank, which wouldn't look right.
Right.
Or Mystic Veil would not look right. But on Corpse Cat, I think the pixel art fits the theme very well because it doesn't. Otherwise, if you went with like some realistic art, man, this could be a very, very, very morbid.
Yeah, no kidding. Like blood and gore everywhere, or whatever.
Right. Cuddled by a toddler,
Oh, jeez.
eyes bulging or something, So yeah, I think the pixel art fit this perfect mold by a dog, Probably better you went with it on this game. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so Etsy, you're selling it on Etsy right now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put that in the show notes. Do you have a store name? It's Lab Rats Games.
It's Lab Rats Board Games, all one word.
Lab Rats Board Games, all one word. We'll definitely link to that in the show notes. You should definitely go take a look at it because it is a hoot. Especially like you said, if you don't like cats, this is your game.
Yeah,
if you like cats,
I mean, there's some pretty cute cats you can play as too. So
I like Lord Roughtongue.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure. It's hilarious.
No, I never won with him. I had to be somebody else to finally pull one off.
Yeah, I think I like Cuddles. That's
Cuddles.
just like such a funny. Yeah,
it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I was blown away by the coffin, the 3D printing that you designed all of this stuff. So it all fits together. It locks together real nice. The fact that you're making your own cards at your house is pretty impressive too. There's 2 dice in there, so you can put one on one half the table, one on the other half the table, and $35 free shipping. It's so fun, and like cats or hate cats, it's for you. It's a blast. You guys should definitely check it out. It's great for lunchtime play. We play about 3 games in a lunch hour with 4 or 5 players. Takes about I mean, if you get it can't take that long just because of the sheer volume of cards that come out. Eventually the black death cards will come out and start knocking people off. But I think the last time we played 3 games in under an hour, so definitely doable.
It's also pretty good for large groups too. Like back when I was still employed, I went to a work trip with a bunch of people, and we went to a bar and just like played it at the bar with like 8 people, and like again, nice. A bunch of people after work that are too tired to listen to you explain rules. It's nice to have something to just say like, no, trust me, just play and it will explain itself. It's not hard. So yeah, they all had a lot of fun, and they weren't board game people, so yeah.
Yeah, take my word for it. It's not complicated. Just sit down and play, and you're trying to kill my cat. Come on.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. 8 players. I think I played with 4 and 5. I don't think I ever got... I know I didn't get up to 8, but... Yeah, I think at that level... Because, like, what... Okay, so back to what you said earlier about when you're out, you're not out. You're just... You actually can affect who wins. And you can also try to steal the cat that's still alive if you can do it.
Yeah.
Get the right card. So the no player elimination, keeping people in the game. is great because you're not out just sitting there watching everybody else try to win or kill everybody else's cat. You're still involved. You're still playing cards. You're still out there trying to upset somebody else, and you can keep, like you said, picking on them for no reason because that's what you do when you play games.
Yeah, there's a lot of like joke revenge, where you kind of act like you're extremely offended that your cat was killed by someone, and that's like half the fun is just acting very upset that your cat is dead and then killing their cat as revenge.
Why would you kill Sushi? I'm such a nice cat.
Yeah.
What did Lord Roughtongue do to you? Yeah, I get it. It's, like I said, hilarious game. Go check it out. It's on Etsy. So Colby, I want to appreciate. Well, I'll cut that out. So Colby, I want to try number 3. So Colby, I want to thank you for being on the show today. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, how can they do that?
So you can go on Etsy and message me on Etsy, or you can just email me the company directly at labratsboardgames@gmail.com. And then at my Facebook, just Colby Lippincott from, I don't know, Buellton, California, if you can figure out who I am on there, I guess. But yeah, that's
Are there a lot of Colby Lippincotts?
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty much the only one.
Yeah, I don't think it's that common of a name, but
No.
I don't know. Could be like John Smith out there in your small town. What do I know?
Yeah, who knows? There's just some random town in the middle of nowhere.
There you go, right? You never know. Like, I used to be a member of a Facebook group called My Name's Adam Collins, and there was like 20 of us. So,
Oh, dang.
Well, I don't think that Facebook account is still up and running, but it was pretty funny for a while. But, my name's a little bit more common.
Right.
So, and as usual, guys, if you want to reach out to me, it's eatlunchandboardgame@gmail.com, facebook.com/eatlunchandboardgame. Hit me up on my website, which is eatlunchandboardgame.com. And remember, board games build bridges.
When you're gaming, why not be comfy? Go over to supportplayer.org. Click on the cards, pieces, and dice to get some merch. These t-shirts are some of the most comfortable I have ever worn. That's supportplayer.org, and there's a link on eatlunchandboardgame.com.